Views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to Cultural Brilliance Radio with Claudette Rowley. Conversations that are transforming the world of culture and business. Claudette brings fresh, innovative perspectives that push the boundaries of what organizational cultures can and should be. Learn how to catalyze your organization's workforce into an authentic, intentional, financially successful culture.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, we just played a whole new intro. And, for those of us out here, we're kind of wondering. I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, what just happened here? I was so not used to the brand new intro. And there we are. And it was amazing. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is so great to be connecting with all of you. And I love introducing you to Claudette Rowley. And here's what we're talking about. This is her fabulous show. Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence. My very special co-host, the founder, creator of Cultural Brilliance. It's something that is taking the business world by storm. And today, we get to talk about something that is so near and dear to those of us that have spent time in organization, and that is the word engagement. So what is it that Claudette is bringing to the forefront? Engagement. Harness your organization's emotional energy. Today, she is going to talk with us about emotional energy. What does it do? Does it drive and engage a workforce? How does it differ in a brilliantly engaged culture? And what about this emotional energy, which we so did not want to talk about for years and years and years? Today, she and I are going to talk about how emotional energy creates engagement and propels organizations forward to great success. For those of you that may or may not have heard our previous shows, I want to tell you a little bit about Claudette. Somebody that understands organizations not only by studying, researching, but being in them and understanding not just the nuances of what motivates and engages employees, but what happens in time of enormous change. And how do we learn how to step through that with a brand new model? The model that Claudette has developed is the cultural brilliance model. When you take authenticity, design, and integration, and you bring them together, and you use a proven process that Claudette has been using for years, then the outcome then becomes something that is exponentially greater than what we're used to in looking at culture and creating the best cultures on the planet. Claudette, it's great to have you here. Great topic. Welcome. And this is a fabulous, fabulous show you've created. And this idea of engagement is so relevant in today's world. It's a great topic.
Thanks so much, Pat. I'm really glad to be here. It is a great topic, and I'm excited to be able to talk about it today. It's so timely and important.
It is. Let's talk about the first part of this, employee engagement and culture. Many people would think, wait a minute, employee engagement, culture, usually we're not really putting those two together, or people are not able to make that connection. They're looking at engagement, they're looking at it in a lot of different ways. But I don't think many folks, many leaders really understand the connection. Can you talk about the engagement and what it's come to mean to you?
Absolutely. I want to start with just a basic definition of employee engagement, because I think it is so important. It tells us a lot. So one definition is that employee engagement is the emotional commitment an employee has to an organization and its goals. And so when we talk about emotional commitment, we mean that engaged employees actually care about their work and care about the company that they work for, the organization they work for. And I think that definition tells us a lot, because we're already talking about, when we talk about engagement in this way, we're talking about emotion, we're talking about commitment, and we're talking about caring. And those are three words we don't hear a lot in most organizations. And how it connects to culture is that engagement is really the employee's experience within the culture. And yet we often talk about engagement and culture separately when they're so interconnected.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to expect people to get results as if people are supposed to be an organization and be robotic, so to speak. As if folks are supposed to just kind of forget, what it means to work with a group of people, the dynamics of that. What does it mean to build loyalty and commitment again in organizations? And, Claudette, don't you find this really interesting? Because we're still talking about, first of all, integrity. Then we're talking about loyalty again. Then we're talking about commitment again. And yet it really is now a new bar that has been raised because we don't have the same enticements that we used to have for all of those, right? I mean, we don't have this idea of, oh my gosh, work here and, in 30 years, boom, you're going to be good to go. So it as itself raises an interesting whole new paradigm for people to look at. And isn't that what you're saying, though? This is a new dialogue about employee engagement.
I think it is a new dialogue about employee engagement. And I often go into organizations and have to really talk with groups of people, leaders, teams about the fact that emotion is part of a person's experience in an organization, which might sound really obvious. And because I still run into organizations where they don't want to acknowledge that we're human and have emotions while we're at work. And it should be all about productivity and how do we do things better and improve things, as opposed to realizing that everyone sitting around the table, everyone who's part of a particular team is sitting there with a set of emotions. And they may feel their integrity has been maligned in some way. They may feel that they're being loyal to a company, but a company is not being loyal back. So it speaks to these statistics that a lot of us have heard about from the Gallup research that talks about, 54% of employees in the U.S. are not engaged, and 17% are actively disengaged, which means they're working against an organization. Their unhappiness is showing in how they're interacting within an organization.
What's your experience with this? Because I know that you and I have worked in organizations, and part of this is really looking at what is it today that really brings people alive, right? Employee engagement and culture, and we're looking at what brings people alive. And when we think about that, folks ask the question, well, there are pockets, right, in organizations we can point to, departments maybe that inspire people more than others. But we're really talking about engagement to harness your organization's emotional energy. So we're really talking about creating a culture of this. And I think that's where this is really different from the way that people have attempted to approach this before. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it does differ in some ways. And when we're talking about emotional engagement in an organization, employee engagement in an organization, we're also talking about an employee's ability to reach more performance goals, to offer more to an organization. And I feel that while we can see that if we search the internet, we search Google for that, we're going to find that connection is in a lot of the literature. We don't hear organizations talking about it very much. Mm-hmm. It's almost as though employee engagement is this thing over here on the left that we talk about and work on, and then we have culture over on the right, and we might talk about that and we might work on it. And then we have productivity somewhere else, as though these things aren't all intimately connected and related. And I think that's part of how we're working to change the conversation.
Yeah. And, let's talk about a brilliant culture for a minute and talk about what this really means, in terms of what you've created. We're not used to, people running around and being authentically concerned and really wanting to know what we're saying, what we're doing, how we are. We're just not used to that. And there's very good reason. Many folks have grown up in organizations that say, you know what, Claudette, do me a favor. Let's leave your emotions at the door. I don't know. Have you ever heard that?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine if we said that to our favorite football team for a minute right there?
We would never say that.
Yeah, no, we would never say that.
We would never say that.
But brilliant culture, though, asks us and invites us to do a few things differently, doesn't it?
It really does. And, so your emotions are not left at the door, certainly. In a brilliant culture, we see employees are really engaged. And one of the reasons they are is because a brilliant culture is responsive to the needs of the people that are in the organization and outside of the organization in terms of customers and vendors and other people that are connected in. It's also responsive to the system, so within the organization. So it's easy for employees to be engaged because there's a give and take between the employee and the organization and the culture itself. And so it's much easier for people to be really emotionally committed because they don't feel like they're selling their souls when they go to work in some cases.
Right. It's really interesting. When we're talking about this, and today's show is fabulous. For those of you just tuning in, this is Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence with Claudette Rowley. And here we go. Today, we're talking about engagement. Harness your organization's emotional energy. Yeah, that's what it means. Harness. It doesn't mean, it means suppress. And that has been literally kind of the dynamic going on in organizations now for about a decade. Now, here we are, we're ready to get all fired up. We're ready to get all revved up. But what is that thing? What is called emotional energy? What is that? And why is that now so seriously important? Not only to honor it, but to cultivate it. Let's take a short break, everyone. This is really exciting. I love this. If you've ever been on a team in organizations and you had a great idea, and that idea was something fabulous that was going to create something new for the public or the customers, you're fired up about it. Then why do we want to suppress this? We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tim Darter.
And I'm Steve Kramer.
Join us on Spirit Fire Radio. Discover how to add the mechanics of meditation to your day.
And watch yourself connect in a whole new way. Find the amazing moments in life's routines that often pass us by. Add to your awareness with Spirit Fire Radio.
Tune in each Wednesday at 9 a.m. for your weekly guide to practical mindfulness. And to learn more, visit www.spiritfireradio.com.
Shine on Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine on Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
What is a brilliant culture and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you design a culture that thrives. Whether you want to increase your business's success or create a more engaged, unified workforce, Claudette can help. We cannot thrive in a toxic environment. Learn how to create change with cultural brilliance and Claudette Rowley. To learn more or to work with Claudette, visit ClaudetteRowley.com.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Get ready to experience Truth Talk Radio with host Deb Acker. Tune in to Truth Talk Radio each Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to illuminate the truth in your daily life as you experience life, love, and abundance from a whole new perspective. This hit show will leave you feeling lighter and bring you into a place of infinite possibilities every day in every way. Visit TruthTalkRadioshow.com for upcoming transformative topics and guests.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show. Stellar conversations to illuminate your journey. Engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW.